Okay. Beta. I'm gonna show y'all boys where I'm from, man. I'm from that.
What it do? Still with the camp, shot like a little big boss hog. Boss dog can't poke through the door. Here to talk this box. Fuck it in my soliloquy. Remember, tough times don't last. Good people do it off yourself. Cut them in the file, maybe you matter. Peak game, 84s on West Wayne. Turkey. But they couldn't. Turkey Alalshikh implements no running rule. Let's talk about it. Turk say ain't gonna be no more running, man. Ain't nobody running from no smoke. You know, you gonna stand in there, you gonna fight. This is how I tell y'all, man. This is why I tell y'all. Y'all told me Turk got all this endless money. You know, he got endless money. He not worrying about blah, 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 and blue, and you. Y'all was, that's what y'all was saying. Now this man talking about, man, hey, you can't be running. And we finna basically make the ring smaller. So you gotta fight. You know what I mean? You gotta fight. You gotta get in there and get it cracking. I told y'all, man. For all y'all talking about, Turkey, they're killing, they're taking over boxing. How they taking over boxing when he implementing this rule? Right? How they taking over boxing when he's implementing this rule? Because he realized he's losing money. He realizes that the fights are not doing what they're supposed to do. If he didn't care, he wouldn't have implemented this rule. Right? He wouldn't have came out and said, man, you know what? No running. No. He knows. Man, I'm losing too much money. The fans are not, my bad. This lady, my bad, bro. All I said, the fan, he losing money, right? He's losing bread, bro. So he like, man, look, I'm losing too much money. I'm losing this, I'm losing that, man. I need to get that chicken. You feel me? I need to get that chicken. I need to get a cracking. You know, that's his mindset, bro. He like, I'm losing too much bread on these fights. You know, they not doing what they supposed to do. I'm here to tell you this. Turkey, even if these dudes have an all-out brawl, you still not gonna do what you're supposed to do. Sale-wise, because you don't know what you're doing. You don't have a clue what you're doing. You doing all this extra stuff at these fights. You doing all the theatrics, having them pull up in a cab, pull up in a slab, still sitting on foes. Man, come on, man. You know what I'm talking about? Like, bro, boxing fans, we just want good fights. That's it. Not the fights you want. We want good fights. The fans want, right? And one thing Turkey got to understand in boxing, okay, I'm finna break this all down. In boxing, as a promoter, as a matchmaker, you do what the fans want, right? But why? Why is that, boss? Why does he do what the fans want? Because that's where you make your chicken at. That's where you make most of your money back up. Prime example, this so-called biggest fight in the world and blah, 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 right? Which I'm finna make a video about that. I'm finna cook. But this so-called biggest fight in the world, right? When you look at that fight, nobody asked for that, but you want to see it. Now, if you give us the fight of Canelo David Benavidez, you're going to get your return of interest back because that's a fight that everybody wants to see. Everybody wants to see Canelo versus David Benavidez. That's the fight we want to see. We don't want to see no other fights, right? We don't want to see Canelo and nobody else but David Benavidez. Maybe Dimitri Bivol, but I don't think Canelo can beat Dimitri Bivol. And I think he know that. That's why he ain't rematched that boy. You know what I mean? Dimitri Bivol so gangster, he even said, I'll fight you at 168. Canelo still said, me no fight. Right? Terrence Crawford. Okay? All this talk about, he boots and he said boots a contract when it was at 147. All right, it's over with. Boots at 54 now. So Boots would have easily moved to one. He would have, I'm telling you. And especially the fact that y'all got Turk, Mr. Turkey COMBS. Bro, Boots would have easily moved up to, he would have dropped them belts, moved up to 154 to fight Terrence Crawford. if they came to him with that fight. They say, look, we want you to fight Terrence Crawford. He would have been like, bet, I'm dropping my belts, I'm going to 154. Easily. Because that's the fight he wants. That's the fight he desires. He believes that he can beat Terrence Crawford. Right? That's the same. And you know what this reminds me of? How Terrence Crawford, you know, so-called was saying, like, man, I'm feeding into fight Errol. That's how Boots is with Terrence Crawford. And I think Terrence Crawford see that. So he like, man, hell no, I ain't fighting that young dude, bro. He like, I ain't fighting that young dude, bro. That boy bigger than me and can do what I can do? Nah, man. Nah, I don't want them problems. You know? We want to see Terrence Crawford versus Boots. Or Terrence Crawford versus anybody at 154. Right? Bakra Murders Olive. Erickson Lubin. You know, Erickson Lubin will fight that boy anywhere. Erickson Lubin is about that. That's why fighters like that, I respect. You know what I'm saying? They ain't playing a politic game. They're like, bet, I'll fight you right. Shit, we can fight right here in the park. You know what I'm saying? If you from Houston, shit, man, we can fight Moody Park. Man, we can fight Brewster Park, man, over there in the 5th Ward, man. Man, man, stop playing. We can fight in the middle of the Hardy Toll Road. We can fight in the middle of Hardy and Lorraine Street. Man, we can fight on Coke Street. Man, we can fight on Crane Street. For my people from that 5th Ward. We can fight on North Borough, West Thorough. You know what I'm talking about? We can fight in Greens and Imperial. If you live on the West, man, we can fight on Spice Lane. Man, I don't care, man. We can fight on Fondren and West Airport. Fondren and Maine. I don't care. You know what I'm talking about? Man, we can fight on Selinsky, man. It don't matter. In the middle of the street. That's Erickson Lubin mindset. Erickson Lubin got that mindset. You feel me? But this no running rule, Turk got to understand that every fighter fights differently. Okay, there's one thing I got to say. You got Shakur. Shakur's more of a boxer, right? So this whole thing about no running, you got some fighters that box. The art of boxing is to hit and not get hit. I don't think this man understands that, bro. Now, I get it. Like the stuff that Shakur was doing against Edwin De Los Santos and the stuff Devin was doing against Jose Ramirez, yeah, that's running. But boxing is moving a little bit. You know, it's lines and angles. You know what I'm talking about? You just making a miss by a couple of feet, or a couple of inches, pause, bah, return it, counter it. You know? That's what it is, bro. You utilize your feet to set you up to land certain shots. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think Turk understand that. He just think that you're supposed to be Rocco Soccer robots. That's not boxing. You know what I mean? But every fighter has a different style. You got a fighter like Triple G. Triple G is a guy that got power. A lot of times, guys that got power are not movers like that. You know? And I'm just speaking from experience. I'm not a mover. I can move. You know? When I was an active amateur, and let me make this perfectly clear, because somebody put in my conversation, oh, where's your box rec? You said you're a fighter. Where's your box rec? When I was an active, was means past tense. For the stupid people in the back. Was. When I was an active amateur fighter. Okay? I was a power puncher, right? So when you're a power puncher, you typically are a kung fu fighter, right? You're going to be on that front foot. You're going to be pressing the action. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's a defensive aspect to it as well, because you could throw in between people's shots, right? Which is something that I learned to do, is to throw in between your shots and counter, right? Which, at times, that's what Triple G did. He would throw in between your shots, and if he felt like he was hurting you, he'll punch through your guard. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he had his head down and have you hit the hardest part of his head. You know what I'm saying? You know, now granted, he can't take too many of those shots, pause, but he was doing that. You know, I took a lot of Triple G's game, you know, fighting style, pause, and implemented into my game. That's how I know, you know what I'm saying? Just like I took some of Canelo's fighting style, you know, which Canelo has elite upper body movement. You know what I'm saying? Upper body head movement, or he used to have elite upper body head movement, and he would counter you. You know what I'm saying? Feet was slow, but elite upper body head movement and could counter you. You know what I mean? And his counterattacks were very elite. You know what I mean? Like one of, and you know, that's what I give Canelo credit for to this day. He still can counter you. He's just not putting combination punches together no more. You know? But that's the art of boxing, is to hit and not get hit. Everybody got different styles. So for you to sit here and try to implement, you know, this no running rule because you losing money, that's why he implemented it, because he losing money. People are not liking his fights, right? Like he thought. He thought, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this, and bro, truthfully, you can sit there and put a boxing event in the middle of the ocean. You know what I'm saying? And if it's just two fighters that everybody want to see fight, people gonna tune in. You know? People are gonna tune in. They're gonna watch it. They're gonna, oh man, that boy going on. Hey man, hey, that's the fight we want to see. You know? This whole Terence Crawford, Canelo, you know, this is gonna be the greatest fighter of the century. No, it's not. If Terence Crawford, I'm telling you, bro, if that man go in there trying to think he can melt Canelo, I'm telling you, he getting stopped, bro. I don't care what nobody say. He go in there and be smart, throw in between Canelo shots, utilize a little bit of lateral movement, you know? Take Canelo in the deep rounds, he can win the fight on points. Because Canelo don't got a good gas tank. That's a whole nother video. So I'm saying at the end of the day, keep it thoughts, keep it true, keep it out working with Will. Boss been telling you, man. All this stuff about Turk, he's feeling it. You know what I'm saying? We done seen this before, bro. They come in here, oh, I'm gonna change boxing, and then boom, they don't change nothing. You know what I mean? So Turk trying to take control, implement this, implement that, implement this, and you feel me? He's starting to see. Tell them what y'all think, though. Let's go.